Why play Neeko mid? Well, she pushes waves incredibly easily. Her ultimate can win team fights immediately, she brings insane burst damage, and she can lock down entire teams for ages. However, she is skill shot reliant, so she can struggle against high mobility, and it can be difficult to get safely in range to make your ultimate effective. Neeko's passive is she can disguise herself as an allied champion, taking direct damage from an enemy champion, or if she uses her Q, E, or ultimate, she will transform back to herself. Neeko's Q is a skill shot which throws a circle on the floor. This circle deals damage in the area, and if it kills a minion or hits an enemy champion, it will then detonate again for an additional burst of damage. And this additional detonation of damage can happen up to twice, which means if an enemy champion stays within this, they can get hit up to 3 times by this ability. But additional hits do deal less damage. Neeko's W has a passive where every third attack deals a chunk extra damage and gives her a small burst of movement speed. The active causes Neeko to become invisible for a short period of time and projects a clone for 3 seconds. The clone will run in a straight line, and both Neeko and the clone gain movement speed during this time. Neeko's E is a straight line skill shot which deals damage and roots all enemies hit. This ability can travel through enemies, and if it hits an enemy, it makes the skill shot grow larger, making it move faster and root for even longer. Neeko's ultimate causes her to channel a large circle around herself, during which time she can move. After a short delay, she leaps into the air, gaining a large shield before she lands, dealing massive damage to all enemies around her and stuns them. Also, if Neeko is disguised as another champion during this time, the start of the ability can be prepared in secret. For combos, you want to disguise yourself as another champion and start with W before using your ultimate. After landing your devastating ultimate, land your E on as many champions as possible before landing Q and then spamming away with attacks. For matchups, Neeko can struggle against longer range AP mages who can simply outrange and outbully her, and she has an easier time against shorter ranged immobile champions who she can easily land skill shots on. For runes, take this, she is all about the burst damage. For build order, start Rig and Pot into tier 2 boots before getting either a rocket belt if you're looking to land aggressive ults, or Everfrost if you want more utility. Follow this up with the Shadow Flame and Azonias before finishing your build with any of these. For skill order, start Q then E then W before maxing Q then E then W, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Ignite. Starting the game, Neeko is looking to bully early to build an advantage. When your opponent walks up to the wave to farm, you want to land an E through minions to get the extended route. If you're able to follow up with a Q which will detonate multiple times and an empowered auto attack, this will deal a massive amount of damage and proc your electrocute. This insane amount of burst damage that's available to you incredibly early can give you a huge amount of pressure, and while doing this you naturally push the wave in pretty hard as you simply don't care about minions hitting your abilities through them. This is good for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Neeko is a pretty safe laner. If a jungler does come, you want to use your W and throw your clone back towards your tower. After this, you run in a straight line towards the river, and this will usually trick the jungler into going for your clone. The other reason pushing your wave is good is because it gives you priority on roams. When roaming, you can do fun plays by having your support walk into the river for a short period of time. You can then become a copy of that support and walk into their lane pretending to be them. There's nothing worse than the enemy support suddenly changing into a Neeko and devastating you. Entering late game teamfights, you can play in 2 different ways. Firstly, you can play as the backline mage spamming out damage and using your ultimate to devastate anything coming for your backline. Otherwise, you can play a pseudo assassin role. Wait for the teamfight to start and then flank into the fight using your ultimate in the middle of their team. Playing the mage is definitely the safer role. However, if you can pull off a massive ultimate in the middle of their team, the damage and lockdown wins games.